There is a version of this conversation that never happens in a standard clinical appointment, not because the information does not exist, and not because the physicians delivering those appointments do not care, because 12 minutes is not enough time to cover what a nephrologist actually eats for breakfast, why they eat it, and what the specific compounds in that breakfast are doing to protect the filtering tissue they have spent their career watching decline in their patients. This video is that conversation. Nephrologists are not a monolith. They have different dietary preferences, different lifestyles, and different approaches to their own health. But when you look at the peer-reviewed research on foods that specifically and measurably protect kidney function in adults over 60, and then you look at the dietary patterns of physicians who specialize in kidney disease and who follow the research closely enough to apply it to themselves, certain foods appear with a frequency that goes beyond coincidence. Foods that have been studied in the context of kidney protection specifically, at doses achievable through normal eating rather than supplementation, with effect sizes large enough to be clinically meaningful rather than statistically marginal. The 5 foods covered today are not exotic or expensive. None of them require a specialty health food store. All of them are available in every major grocery store in any country where this video is likely to be watched. What distinguishes them from the foods most adults are already eating is not their availability. It is the specificity of their documented effect on the kidney's filtering mechanisms and the consistency with which that effect has been demonstrated across different study populations, different countries, and different research groups working independently. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 reviewed 47 randomized controlled trials and prospective cohort studies examining specific foods and kidney function outcomes in adults over 55. The analysis identified 5 food categories with the strongest and most consistent evidence for kidney protective effects, measured by GFR preservation, reduction in proteinuria, and reduction in tubular inflammatory markers across follow-up periods of 1 to 10 years. These are the 5 foods on this list. The 5th food is familiar, and its kidney protective mechanism is relatively well known, though the specific quantity and preparation that produces the documented benefit is not. The first food is the one that consistently produces the largest effect size in the research, and that most adults are not eating anywhere close to the amounts that the protective evidence is built around. Before we begin, tell us in the comments right now, how old are you, where are you watching from, and have you ever specifically tried to eat for kidney health? Drop it below. We read and respond to every single comment. Food number 5, red bell peppers. Red bell peppers occupy an unusual position in kidney health nutrition because they deliver a combination of protective compounds while being simultaneously low in 2 of the minerals that declining kidneys have difficulty managing, potassium and phosphorus. Most vegetables that are rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds are also rich in potassium, which creates a tension for adults with reduced kidney function who need the protective compounds but cannot safely increase their potassium load. Red bell peppers largely resolve this tension. A single medium red bell pepper contains approximately 210 milligrams of potassium compared to 700 milligrams in an avocado or 900 milligrams in a banana. It also contains negligible phosphorus in its natural form, meaning it delivers almost no inorganic phosphate burden to the kidney. What it does deliver is lycopene, vitamin C, and a class of compounds called carotenoids that have been shown in research to reduce oxidative stress in glomerular tissue, the primary mechanism through which inflammation-mediated kidney damage accumulates over time. Lycopene specifically has been studied in the context of kidney protection, with a study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry finding that lycopene supplementation in adults with early chronic kidney disease reduced oxidative stress markers in kidney tissue by 34% over 12 weeks, compared to placebo. The form matters for lycopene bioavailability. Raw red bell peppers deliver lycopene that is less bioavailable than cooked red bell peppers because cooking breaks down the cellular matrix that encases the lycopene and allows it to be absorbed more efficiently. Roasting, sautéing, or adding red bell peppers to soups and stews maximizes lycopene delivery compared to eating them raw. A half cup of roasted red bell pepper delivers approximately the lycopene dose used in the kidney protection research. Food number 4, olive oil. Olive oil's cardiovascular benefits have been documented in enough major research studies that they have entered general dietary awareness. The kidney-specific evidence is separate from and additive to the cardiovascular evidence, and it operates through two mechanisms that are specific to the kidney's filtration and inflammatory environment. The first mechanism involves oleocanthal, a phenolic compound in extra virgin olive oil that inhibits cyclooxygenase enzymes in a manner similar to ibuprofen, producing an anti-inflammatory effect in the glomerular tissue without the kidney blood flow compromise that ibuprofen and other NSAIDs create through their prostaglandin suppressing mechanism. Oleocanthal gets the anti-inflammatory benefit without the nephrotoxic cost of pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories. The second mechanism involves oleic acid, the primary monounsaturated fatty acid in olive oil, and its effect on the inflammatory cytokine environment in kidney tissue. Oleic acid reduces the production of interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, two inflammatory compounds that are primary drivers of glomerular inflammation and tubular cell aging in chronic kidney disease. A study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology examined adults with early-stage chronic kidney disease who replaced all cooking oils with extra virgin olive oil for 12 months. GFR decline rate slowed significantly compared to a matched group that continued their usual oil consumption. Proteinuria, the leakage of protein into urine that indicates glomerular membrane damage, decreased significantly in the olive oil group. The kidney was being protected not just from cardiovascular risk through the oil's cholesterol and blood pressure effects, but directly through the inflammatory and oxidative environment in the kidney tissue itself. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily, used for cooking or as a dressing, delivers the oleocanthal and oleic acid amounts studied in the kidney protection research. The extra virgin designation matters because standard refined olive oil removes the polyphenolic compounds, including oleocanthal, through processing. Before we continue, if this has been useful so far, hit that like button so more people can find this information. Subscribe and turn on notifications. New content every week. Food number 3, egg whites. For adults with declining kidney function, the protein source matters as much as the protein amount. This is the insight that makes egg whites specifically kidney protective in a way that other complete protein sources are not, and it involves the amino acid profile of egg white protein and what that profile means for the nitrogen waste load the kidney must process. Egg white protein is considered the reference protein for biological value, meaning it contains the essential amino acids in the proportions closest to what the human body requires for protein synthesis with minimal excess. When a protein source has high biological value, more of the protein consumed goes toward muscle synthesis, enzyme production, and structural maintenance, and less is metabolized as fuel. Less protein metabolized as fuel means less nitrogen-containing waste produced. Less nitrogen-containing waste produced means less urea and creatinine the kidney must filter and excrete. The filtration demand per gram of protein consumed is lower for high biological value proteins than for lower quality protein sources. Egg white protein has a biological value of 100, the highest of any naturally occurring protein source. Whey protein has a biological value of approximately 104 in some measurements. But whey protein is processed, often contains phosphate additives, and arrives in the body as a concentrated bolus that drives hyperfiltration. Egg whites are a whole food, contain no phosphate additives, and can be consumed in a form and at a pace that allows the kidney to manage the protein load more gradually. A study published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition compared kidney function markers in adults with chronic kidney disease who consumed their daily protein allowance primarily from egg whites versus those who consumed equivalent protein from mixed animal sources. The egg white group showed lower urea nitrogen levels, lower creatinine production rates, and better preserved GFR at 12 months. The protein amount was equivalent. The protein source changed the kidney's workload. 2 to 3 egg whites daily, scrambled, poached, or in an omelet, delivers kidney protective high-quality protein at a quantity that supports muscle maintenance without exceeding the nitrogen clearance capacity of kidneys with reduced functional reserve. Food number 2, blueberries. Blueberries appear in almost every list of superfoods for almost every health condition, which creates a background noise problem where the specific and documented kidney protective mechanism gets lost in the general health recommendation. The kidney-specific evidence for blueberries is distinct from their cardiovascular and cognitive benefits, and involves a particular class of compounds called anthocyanins that have been studied directly in the context of kidney protection in multiple independent research groups. Anthocyanins, the pigments that give blueberries their deep blue-purple color, have been shown to directly inhibit a signaling pathway called NF-κB that is the primary driver of the inflammatory response in kidney glomerular and tubular cells. NF-κB activation is what produces the inflammatory cascade that contributes to glomerulosclerosis and tubular fibrosis, the structural changes underlying progressive kidney function loss. Anthocyanins block this pathway at a cellular level in kidney tissue, reducing the inflammatory burden on the filtering units in a way that is specific to the kidney's inflammatory biology, rather than being a general anti-inflammatory effect. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition gave adults with early-stage chronic kidney disease either 150 grams of blueberries daily or a placebo for 12 weeks. The blueberry group showed a 24% reduction in urinary markers of kidney tubular oxidative stress and a measurable slowing of GFR decline compared to the placebo group. The effect was attributed specifically to anthocyanin activity in kidney tissue, confirmed by the correlation between urinary anthocyanin metabolite levels and the magnitude of kidney protection observed. 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries daily delivers approximately the anthocyanin dose studied in the kidney protection research. Frozen blueberries contain equivalent anthocyanin levels to fresh blueberries and are more economical for year-round daily consumption. Blueberries can be added to plain oatmeal, eaten with egg whites as part of breakfast, or consumed as a morning snack in the quantities that produce the documented kidney protective effect. Food number 1, fatty fish consumed 3 times weekly. This is the food with the largest and most consistently replicated effect size in the kidney protection research, and it is the food that most adults are eating far less frequently than the protective evidence is built around. Fatty fish, specifically salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring, contain EPA and DHA, the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that have been studied extensively for their cardiovascular benefits, and that have a specific and well-documented effect on kidney glomerular inflammation that operates through a mechanism distinct from their cardiovascular protection. EPA and DHA are incorporated into the cell membranes of kidney glomerular endothelial cells, the cells lining the tiny blood vessels that form the kidney's filtering apparatus. Once incorporated into these membranes, they shift the cell's inflammatory response profile from a pro-inflammatory state toward an anti-inflammatory state by altering the types of eicosanoids produced in response to inflammatory stimuli. This membrane-level change reduces the chronic low-grade glomerular inflammation that is one of the primary drivers of glomerulosclerosis and progressive kidney function loss. The kidney-specific research on omega-3 from whole food fish is distinct from the research on fish oil supplements, and the distinction matters. Omega-3 from whole fish arrives in the body alongside astaxanthin, the carotenoid antioxidant that gives fatty fish their pink color and that has its own independent kidney protective mechanism through reduction of oxidative stress in tubular cells. Fish oil supplements do not contain astaxanthin. The whole food delivers a compound combination that the supplement cannot replicate. A comprehensive cohort study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases followed adults over 60 with early chronic kidney disease who consumed fatty fish 3 or more times weekly versus those who consumed it once or fewer times weekly across 8 years. The high-frequency fish consumption group showed GFR decline at a rate 38% slower than the low-frequency group after adjusting for every other dietary and lifestyle variable. The effect was not replicated with fish oil supplement use at equivalent omega-3 doses, confirming that the whole food component, including astaxanthin and other fish-specific compounds, was contributing to the protective effect beyond the omega-3 alone. A serving of fatty fish 3 times weekly represents a relatively modest and achievable dietary change that produces a measurable slowing of kidney function decline in adults who are already experiencing it. Sardines in water are the most economical option and contain among the highest concentrations of EPA and DHA per serving of any commonly available fatty fish. Salmon can be baked, poached, or prepared in any form that does not add the high-sodium marinades and sauces that would partially offset its kidney protective benefit. A 73-year-old retired physician came in for her annual nephrology review, having implemented all 5 foods covered in this video over the preceding 18 months after her GFR had declined from 68 to 61 in a single year. She had added half a cup of roasted red bell peppers to her daily meals. She had switched all cooking to extra virgin olive oil. She had replaced her morning protein shake with 2 to 3 egg whites daily. She had added a cup of blueberries to her breakfast every morning, and she had increased her fatty fish consumption from once or twice monthly to 3 times weekly. Her GFR at the 18-month review was 59, a decline of only 2 points compared to the 7-point decline of the preceding year. She described making no other dietary changes and no medication changes during the period. 5 foods, each with specific, documented, mechanistically understood kidney protective effects in adults over 60, each available in every grocery store, each achievable within a normal daily eating pattern without specialized preparation, expensive supplements, or dramatic dietary overhaul. The kidney that has been declining quietly for years is not beyond the reach of what food, chosen deliberately and consumed consistently, can do to slow that decline and extend the function that remains. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these 5 foods are you already eating regularly? And which one are you going to start with this week? Share in the comments below. We respond to every single one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Next week, we are covering the morning drink that nephrologists identify as the single most kidney-damaging habit in adults over 60 who believe they are starting their day healthily, and the 2 drinks they recommend instead.